live.
Perfect.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our interview with Dianna from Cyber Scent Work. That's it, right?
Yes.
Oh, hang on. It says they are having trouble streaming to Facebook. Okay, so we're going to double check before we say anything that we're working. So if you hear us and you see us on Facebook, please comment so that we can see if we're there. And are they? Dying on me.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Okay. And there.
I'm sure she'll be back. I don't want to take away from her stream. But I will just start introducing myself just in case. So if anyone is able to hear me, hello, my name is Dianna Santos. I am the president and co-founder for Cyber Network. I'm delighted that I was able to be invited today for today's stream. If you are able to hear me at all, if you'll be able to note that in the comments, I may be able to see it in the chat. And again, we're just waiting for our host to come back on in order to let us know if this is all working. This is the joy of technology. I deal with this all of the time, but I am very appreciative for Barb inviting me in order to talk about Cyber Network today. I'm very passionate about scent work, so I would love to know what all of you think about this as well. So again, if you are able to hear me at all, please feel free to write any comments. I should be able to see those in the chat in theory. Hello.
Okay, I am back. I don't know what happened. My internet totally caved. It kicked out.
It's the worst.
So now I am, see if I can re-add these. I think nobody's seeing us. Come on, people. Come on, connect. Check Facebook to make sure the stream looks okay. Okay, I think I might have to create a new live stream. Or it says, okay, it says, or remove the destination. So I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to remove and then re-add the destination and see if that helps. Oh my goodness. Let's see if that one connects and then we'll do it. Okay, that worked. Okay, so we'll just go through all three of them and redo. I love technology.
Yes, exactly. It's the best.
Okay, people, somebody come online. I think you might finally be here. I'm going to text my mother and tell her, can you find us? Oh my goodness. So if anybody comes on, please tell me we are there.
Yes, don't stress poor Barb out.
Help. I mean, I don't care. I want to talk to you for an hour anyway. So everybody else is just missing out if they can't find us. Okay, I see a couple people joining. Please comment so that you can say that you're here, say that you see us. I am tethered to my phone right now. So if I disappear, just keep talking, Dianna, and I will come back.
No problem.
Apparently my internet just decided to die. Oh. Okay, I see there's a few people on. So we will get started. And if you have any questions, you can post them in the comments. Oh, I see someone here. See you. Thank you, Facebook user. There are instructions on how to make sure your name shows for us, but I will go into the group as well if I can get my computer to do anything. Maybe I'll do it on my phone. Oh, okay. My mom. Hi, Mom. She lives in the basement, so she's got internet. So maybe she'll be streaming down there. Couple more people. Thank you. Okay, so we will get started. So, Dianna, tell us, who are you?
Hello there, and thank you so much for inviting me today. My name is Dianna Santos. I am the president and co-founder for Cyber Scentwork, and this is an online competition organization, all focusing on scentwork competitions. I'm also the president and owner of Scentwork University, which is an online dog training platform that focuses on scentwork too. So thank you very much for this invitation. I'm a little bit passionate about scentwork, so I will try not to hurt anyone's ears by getting too loud. But scentwork is something I'm very excited about, so thank you very much for the invitation.
No problem. You've come to the right place. We have a few junkies here as well. So where did you grow up?
So I
Tell
grew
us a
up
bit about your past. Yeah.
Sure. So I grew up in Long Island, New York, in the United States, and that's where I was born. I didn't actually start having a dog in my life until I was probably in my early teens, but I was an animal lover forever. And finally got a dog, and that was very exciting. And our very first dog we got from a shelter was downright scary. And he had to, quote unquote, go to the farm because he was trying to kill us.
Oh, no.
So then we got a second dog, and she was absolutely amazing. She was wonderful. She was an opinionated, probably some kind of whippet type of mix. She was fantastic, but she was very, very smart. So I didn't know anything. I was just a young little teen just playing with her. But it was amazing to see how she wanted to do things with me and how she wanted to try to mimic what I was doing. So I was teaching her little things like finding me, hide and go seek, oh, let's jump over this broom, like all this nonsense. But it was very interesting to me being able to connect with her on this different level of understanding what she was saying and that she was trying to understand what I was saying. So additionally, at the very same time, parallel, I was doing stuff with horses. That was my other passion. So I did that career for a while, about 12, 13 years, until my body said, "You're not doing that anymore." So I said, "Okay."
There's
Then
a
I
lot of
was,
horse people doing dogs and vice
yes,
versa.
exactly. Yes. It's very, very comparable. And also, if you're going to be working with a multi-thousand-pound animal, you need to be able to listen to them so they don't crush you. So you get pretty well versed in being able to read what they're saying, and that also carries over to the dogs. So from there, I then was working as a paralegal, did that for a couple of years, and then the mind said, "We're not doing that anymore." So at the very same time, I had adopted a Doberman. And we had researched the breed for a while. He was absolutely gorgeous. He was fantastic. And he really wanted to eat other dogs and he really wasn't too keen on people. So that's how I got started in dog training, is that I reached out to some professionals. I'm like, I don't know what's going on with this dog, but I think I need some help. And I was fascinated with behavior modification, of the things they were able to put into play where we could have a really safe type of management with him, some behavior modification. And I was just enthralled. So then I switched from paralegal stuff to dog training. And with him, he had such a small little circle as far as the size of his life that he could do to be safe, because he really was, a loaded gun, basically. And
Sorry, I'm just trying
that's
to get focused.
no problem. I totally get it. The camera's like, what do you want me to look at?
Focused on the back.
So with him, what was interesting is that his circle of life was very, very small. So we want to try to provide as much engagement as possible, as much uh, things that would make his quality of life better. And that's how I fell into scent work. Is that we just started taking a class with one of our instructors. It was very, very safe. We actually had what we called Zeus's closet, where his crate would be inside a closet and we would have multiple X pens around it. And I would stand guard in between all of his runs to make sure that no one would go, "Don't come near Zeus's closet." But that's how I got started with it. And it was just amazing to see the difference in him. He was an amazing nosework dog. He was incredible with hunting. It increased the quality of his life. We could do it at home. I didn't need a whole lot of equipment. I didn't need to try to bring him somewhere where it wasn't safe. And he absolutely loved it. So when he passed away, I then got my second Doberman, Valor, and he was my introduction to all things dog sports. So he could do absolutely everything. He was stable. He was amazing. He had a fantastic temperament. He wanted to do it all. So that's how I really like fell into everything. So he introduced me to a whole bunch of different things. And now I have a tiny little terrier. So now I'm seeing the other thing where I just call him, he is tiny. My Dobermans were 70, 90 pounds and he's 20. It's like, what is this? So that's a real quick recap about me. I started in Long Island, then I went to Connecticut, and now I'm in sunny California because who likes snow? Not this girl.
Yeah, well, some of our members are mushers, so they do enjoy the snow, but yeah,
Yes.
I'll come visit you. Um, I'm just looking at my questions. I think you covered most of that. So what are your basic credentials now as far as training, judging, hosting, that type of thing?
Sure. So I am a certified nosework instructor through NACSW, so I'm a CNWI. I also used to be approved as a trial official with the AKC as well as the USCSS, the United States Canine Scent Sports, down here in the United States. But because my body is so broken down, I basically live inside this chair now. And so I had to resign from all of my positions because I just physically can't do it. It's actually a very physical job being able to officiate. You're on your feet and you have to be able to bend and twist. And my back and neck said no. But I used to work with the United States Canine Scent Sports as their CSD coordinator. So I would actually train and work with all of their officials, which was a wonderful opportunity. I'm always grateful for them for that. So yeah, I'm a certified nosework instructor. I'm also a certified professional dog trainer with the CBDT as well as with Karen Pryor. So I have a whole bunch of little initials after my name. But yeah, I've been doing this since 2011 professionally, and it's such a joy and an honor to work with anyone with their dogs. I mean, if you work with me with your dog, you are giving me a gift because I can see the relationship that you have with your dog and I can see how that grows. And that is the most reinforcing thing for me ever, whether you're doing set work or if you're just like, oh, I got this dog and I thought it was going to be great, but oh my God, I'm so stressed. And to see that shift into, wow, my dog is actually really smart and they're trying so hard and they're so cute. Oh, please give me that all day long. So anyone who's worked with me, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, I can relate. My dog is very reactive, not to people so much, but anything on wheels, including people in wheelchairs. But um, so we've done a whole bunch of sports, and nosework has brought her focus like nothing else, and it's translated to the other things as well. But yeah, I just love watching all the do their thing. um, so now you can tell me if you've already answered this, but why do you love nosework specifically?
So the wonderful thing about nose work is that it really is helping the dog tap into their innate instincts. It's celebrating the dog for being a dog. And it's also encouraging the handler to shift what their relationship is. Everything else in dog training, we're in the lead role. We're basically telling the dog what to do. And a lot of it is we can almost fall into this thing where we're not really paying attention to the dog. We're not listening to the dog. We're so busy, take that jump or do this sit or whatever the case may be. Whereas with nose work, it's completely shift. We have to be really listening and watching our dogs. So I have found that nose work can really improve relationships between dogs and their handlers because of that dynamic shift, and they can see that then benefit go over to other activities where they may notice, hey, you know what, my dog is telling me that they're trying really hard to do these other things. My dog is actually a little worried about that. My dog is actually having fun doing that, where they may not have seen that before. From the dog side, as far as benefits, there's so much. There's confidence building, there's being able to trust in their nose, there is that shine that you see in their eyes, that gleam of, you can hear me, oh, that's so much, okay, you can't hear me anymore, but you heard me for a second. And that is just so wonderful. Being able to see a glimpse into their world is amazing. Odor is complicated, odor is crazy. And the fact that they can go in and do this is absolutely incredible. Whereas if you or I were tasked to go find, let's say, a hot dog, we put a blindfold on, we get on all fours, lots of luck. So it's amazing. It's addicting. It's awesome. I never go tired of it. And really, for me, it's the benefit of seeing people be able to really see and appreciate their dogs and to see the growth in their dogs. I'm just a little passionate about it.
Well, that's a good thing. So, what made you decide to start your organization?
Perfect question. So I've been an instructor for a while and I've been involved in the industry for a little bit. And there were different things about it that I saw that I just didn't like, or there were things that were missing, or people being encouraged to make decisions that I thought just weren't really key for their team. So, as an example, let's say for me and Zeus, again, not appropriate dog to be at trials at all, but we all understand that everyone's busy. And those titles and ribbons can be a really good incentive. Okay, I'm really super busy. I don't have time to train, but I can make time to train because I want the title and the ribbon. But if the only option to get the title and the ribbons is to go to an in person trial, well, now I'm being kind of encouraged to go and bring my dog to this place that isn't safe. So that was a big one for me because I live that and it's just not a good idea. Then there's also the fact that me personally, I actually am a terrible test taker and trials are tests. So it's like I can't get out of my own head most of the time. So we can have all the skills and on test day, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So it would be really helpful to be in a different situation where maybe I'm not in front of 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 people trying to do my actual test. But we also did want to incentivize people to keep playing. Scent work is such an amazing activity for dogs and their handlers. And again, we recognize people are busy. So giving them an opportunity to do that with another organization that potentially you could do virtually if you don't have anything in your area. So that was something that I recognized with my other business, Scent Work University, is that we actually had people working with us around the world. They are the ones building Scent work in their area. It doesn't exist. They're the ones on the ground building it up from the very bottom. And then they're like, great, they have all these wonderful skills. They're amazing with all the training they're doing, but they don't have any way to show it. They're like, there's no trials. It doesn't exist here. Well, why don't we create something that they can? So those were many of the reasons why we started it. I also wanted to give an opportunity for shelters because now they're really starting to lean in using Scent work as an enrichment type of activity for either their resident dogs or dogs that are up for adoption. So we wanted to create something that they could do as well, something that was accessible, something that was easy. We offer different things they can hunt for so they don't have to use the target odors. The dogs could hunt for food, as an example, But wouldn't it be wonderful? You're looking there for an adoptable dog and they have a whole bunch of ribbons next to their little name or their photo. That dog's accomplished. I would like to have that dog in my home. So there's a whole bunch of reasons why we started it, but a lot of it was recognizing what we saw in the industry, what we saw going on. There were different gaps in things. And then we also wanted to make certain as instructors that we were bridging the gap between trialing and training. Because something else that we were noticing is that people were going to trials and they may get some feedback from a judge. It may be like a little throwaway line, like, that was really good teamwork. Make sure that you're watching your space or something. And they go, okay, so what do I do with that? Right. And they may completely blow up their training and try to reverse engineer something on their own when actually they were totally fine. So what we wanted to do is to offer an option where you could actually request actual training feedback from us. So we actually would just be looking at your video, we'd be narrating over it, pointing out what we see, and give you some potential exercises you can do. So providing more information so that people aren't just trying to, blindly go through and try to figure out, okay, I got these words on this piece of paper. What does that mean? Okay, let's just go off and do stuff on our own when they may
Yeah,
actually be
I
doing
love
really
that.
well.
Yeah. Well, I know when I'm in a trial, even if the judge says something, I don't remember any of it after anyway. So it's nice to have that.
Absolutely. It's really hard to try to keep track of everything, right? I mean, our memories are not that great. I know mine is just shot. So it's like, oh, what happened to that search? I don't know. What day is it? Like, what's my name? I have no idea. I'm so nervous. Like, I can't remember anything. So
Yeah,
being able to really leverage a video is really helpful.
cool. I know I'm excited to try it, but okay, so now this is the big question because you offer a lot of different things. So do you want to talk about what specifically you're offering for that people can trial in
Sure. So for
or how
cyber
it
set,
works?
yep. So for Cyber Setwork, again, this is an online trialing organization where you would be able to choose from one of our two programs. We just revamped the whole program to try to offer some additional things. So our cyber sniffing game program is basically testing the skills of the dog. So every single game is testing a unique skill. So as an example, our lookup game is testing the dog's ability to find a hide that's off the ground, like an elevated hide. So you would be able to choose whatever games that you wanted to do with your dog to test the skills for them. Then we have our traditional cyber setwork program, and that's testing the whole team. So that's testing the dog, the handler, and you as a unit. It's more similar to what you may have experienced with other setwork trials, where we offer the four traditional search elements where it is that you're searching. So interiors, exteriors, vehicles, and containers. And we have 6 different levels you can choose from. The great thing about cyber setwork is that you're not basically boxed in to start anywhere. You can choose any game, you could choose any level to start with. You can choose what you're hunting for. So for the cyber sniffing game program, so for the cyber sniffing games, you can search for food, paired odor, toys, scented articles, or odor. So you can choose what it is you're hunting for. And then for the traditional cyber setwork program, it's food, paired odor, or odor. So again, it's all about choices. You get to decide where you are in your training. So as an example, the thing I like to give people to help them wrap their heads around this, let's say that you've been training here in the United States. AKC is pretty big for set work. So they have interiors, exteriors, and containers for their main classes. So they don't have a vehicle class. Let's say that your dog was actually pretty experienced in interiors, but they've never really done a whole bunch with vehicles. With Cyber Network, you could choose to do an upper level, let's say in interiors, because your dog is more experienced, but you could do a lower level, maybe searching for food, for vehicles, and you would be able to earn titles and ribbons for all that stuff. Which is really nice. So, in all of it, you get to decide whether or not you want to work with an in person evaluator. So, we're currently going through and we're having a bunch of wonderful instructors throughout the entire world be able to go through our evaluator program. The wonderful thing about that is that you get to just work with that evaluator. They design the search for you. You come in, you search, they give you a scorecard, and you're all set. You don't have to worry about anything. Or you could do
And I
things
am
on.
one for those local people.
Yes, yes,
We'll be running
exactly.
some soon.
Yes, that would be fantastic. It's a wonderful opportunity for you to be able to just, again, focus on working with your dog. But
Yeah.
in between, when Barb is potentially doing her evaluation events, you maybe say, I want more titles, I want more ribbons. Well, what you can do is you can also do things online with us, where you'd be able to work with maybe a friend, or they'd be able to film your search after they've designed it, and they'd be able to run it with your dog. So again, we are able to do both. It's pretty darn flexible, and people are having a whole lot of fun with it.
Yes, I'm super excited. Like I said, I've been wanting to for a while and I just really can't get my shit together to start. So this forces me to do it now that I'm an evaluator. So what are all the different games? Do you know them all
Sure.
off the top? You have quite a
Yeah, so
few.
I know most of them off the top of my head. So we have there are 10 total games as of this moment, and we are going to be adding more games. So if you actually go to the Cyber Setwork site, we actually have this all broken down for you in our rules.
Actually, here I
But
can screen share that if
oh, perfect.
hang on. If I can spell. I should have done this before. No, apparently I can't spell. There we go. Okay. Now, okay, somewhere there's the screen share. Well, where did it go? There we go. Present. Share screen. There we go. Okay. Hopefully everybody can see that now.
Perfect. So then if you just to click on the cyber sniffing games, then you can just scroll down a little bit and you can do download rules.
Okay.
Sorry,
Oh,
it's over at the top. There's a button up on the top.
I was gonna say, should I download the rules?
Yeah, you can do that just so we can see the listing of all the games. It'll just open up in another tab.
Okay.
Hopefully that works. And if it doesn't, I can just do it on my end.
Okay. No. Hang on. See if I can share the other tab. There we go. There we go.
Perfect. So we try to make our rules pretty easy to understand. So it gives you a whole rundown of everything that you would need to do for the actual games. So as far as what the games are, we offer 10 games as of this moment, and they include the lookup game, the go away game, the dizzying distractors, as well as the focus Fido, crazy containers, all mixed up, pool party, sniffing speedster, out of reach, and blankety blank. Such cute names. So for the lookup game, we're testing your dog's ability to find elevated hides. For the go away game, we're testing your dog's ability to work away from you as a handler, where you'd be staying at the start line as your dog is actually searching. For the dizzying distractors game, we're actually testing your dog's ability to work around a variety of different distractors, such as sound distractors, if you had like a chime playing on a phone while your dog was actually searching. Focus Fido is being able to have your dog search while you're being silly as a handler, walking around like a T-Rex, bouncing around like a bunny, all that good jazz. Crazy Containers is allowing your dog to do a test to see what they do with a variety of different container setups. So containers that maybe are different sizes or different types, different arrangements, different number of containers, all that good stuff. All mixed up is seeing whether or not your dog can find converging odors. So that's where we have multiple hides inside of the search area. And the odor that's coming out from those hides is all coming together and mixing together into a big mishmash of a cloud. Can your dog still find those individual hides? Then we have pool party. That's where odor is escaping from our actual hide and it's moving somewhere else within the search area and then collecting there. So that's actually something that a lot of teams get tripped up on when they're trialing is the dog will actually hit on the pooling odor because it's a pretty high concentration of odor, but they won't actually go back to the hide. So this game is testing your dog's ability to say, oh, here's a cloud, but that's not actually source. Let me go back and find my hide. Sniffing Speedster is testing your dog's ability to efficiently search. So really short search times in this one. And it's really, really fun, but also can be a little bit stressful for a handler. It's a good thing for us to always test for. And then out of reach is being able to find inaccessible hides. So an inaccessible hide would be if a hide was inside, let's say, a closed drawer or a closed closet door. So basically the dog can get directly to the hide itself. And then blankety blank is your dog being able to tackle a space that doesn't have anything in it, and they don't find any phantom hides. They don't find hides that aren't actually there. So it's a really quick breakdown. We're actually doing a whole bunch of webinars about how you would be able to train for each of these individual games. We're doing those for my sister business network university. And we're also did a whole webinar doing a really quick overview about the cyber sniffing game program. That's actually, you can find that for free on the Cyber Network site as well.
Cool. Okay, so I removed that. I just wanted to mention too, you did mention it, but I'm going to share the other tab. Did it share? I'll add it. So for the traditional games, like I know a lot of people here have played in some different sports, like different organizations. The closest would be like SDDA to what, like that's the closest one that we've seen here that
Mhm.
people may have trialed in. And so I just wanted to, oh, where am I going? I know there's a lot of people that have done lower levels, and when you start a new organization, it's always a bit of a pain that most of them want you to start right at the bottom. So um, I'm just going to go to like master interior. You can actually start there if that's where you're at in other organizations. You can sort of jump in wherever. So I think that's pretty cool. So this one is 4 to 7 total hides that are unknown, birch, anise, or clove, must be blind, may have 2 inaccessibles, up to 5 feet, search area between 200 square feet and 1,000, 4 total distractors, could be toy, food, sound, person, or movement, no false alerts permitted. There's faults with deduction of 5 points for each fault. And there's some lists there and disqualification things. So, like I said, that's one thing that sort of appealed to me right away is, once you've got your starter title in 5 different organizations, and because that's all there is, and you don't want to travel for 8 hours, but you can do better. This is nice because you can just jump in and try with where you think you are anyway.
Yes, exactly. That's a very good point. And thank you for pointing that out. Is that we don't want to, again, I'm not trying to box anyone in. We know that everyone's at different experience levels. So you can come in at any level that you like, but you're also not required to move on. So let's say that you absolutely just love advanced and you just want to be the advanced king or queen. You can, and you can continue earning those titles at that level as long as you like. Just like with agility or obedience, you can get your advanced level 1, 2, 3, 100 if you like. You can also go back down, which is nice. So let's say that you've been doing this for a bit, you have a senior dog, they're starting to slow down, maybe they have some arthritis, maybe they have some injuries, but they really do love the game, but maybe an upper level thing is just a little bit too taxing for them, right? We want this to still be fun. You don't have to stay in the upper level, you can go back down. Another thing that's really helpful if you are competing with other organizations is that lots of our participants actually use Cyber Set Work as a kind of an engagement or motivating thing to do with their dogs to prep for the other types of organizations. So they may actually do a lower level search for us. So they're still earning their titles and ribbons, but they use that as almost a training and engagement and motivation thing for their dog when they are competing in person for an upper level. So there's all kinds of different ways that you can leverage this, which is really, really good. But yeah, we offer lots of flexibility. You're not required to do anything because that is a big thing that we heard from the community. It's like, oh, I have to start a beginner again. It's like, no, you don't. But I will say, if you were to go through the 6 levels, beginner and then on up, we have designed it to be progressive. So if you were starting, let's say, with a brand new dog, I think you'll get a lot of benefit from it. And you'll also notice that our levels it's not an apples to apples type of uh, comparison. It's not as though beginner is the same thing as a starter. We actually are having you find multiple hides. We're testing you harder than what you may actually see in a comparable level, which is kind of the point. But yeah, lots of flexibility.
Yeah, I know when I first looked at it, I was like, holy crap, there's so many options. I don't even know where to start.
Yes, a little bit of
That's
choice
fun.
paralysis.
Yes. Which may be why I haven't started, but we got to see where we're at right now. So I think that was most of my questions. Oh, one more. So are there any particular activities you need to be ready to trial in the organization? Like
The
what?
main thing Yep, so the main thing that we encourage everyone to do is let's say that you're pretty new to scent work, you've only just started. The main thing is you just want to make certain that your dog understands the game, that they really do understand the concept of hunting, that if whatever you're putting out there, be it a food or toy or an actual odor hide, that they can actually recognize that that's out there and they can actually find it. And this isn't handler hunt. It isn't, okay, I wait for you to go find it and then you give me a cookie. That's really fun. What a fun game. We want them to be the ones to actually go and do that. So that's the big thing that I would say for that. Additionally, I will also tell people that it's good for you to also be able to read your dog. So it's not all about just a final trained response, those really, flashy freeze types of behaviors or the sits and the downs. You want to be able to read the whole sequence so you can actually tell when your dog detects the odor, they're chasing the odor, and they're sourcing the hide. That's really, really helpful. So if you're not really sure on that stuff, I would say definitely do a little bit of training and practicing. Again, you absolutely can reach out to Barb. We have a lot of different resources on Setwork University as well that can help. But you can also you play with the games to start, because that with that you're testing the dog. Really, you're making certain that they can understand these things, and then you can just be watching as a handler to really build up some of your skills as well. But that's the main thing that I encourage people to do before they start, is to ensure the dog can actually do the hunting piece. And this isn't just, okay, you go find it and then give me a cookie. This is fun.
Yeah. Yes, and the fact that you have streams where they can just search for food is great too, because then, the really beginner dogs can get going right away as well.
Exactly. Yes. And it's also really good for people. I've had plenty of clients over the years that love scent work. They don't want anything to do with those target odors. Like, I don't want to buy it. I don't want to store it. I don't want to handle it. I don't want anything to do with it. But they
Yeah.
love scent work. So now they get to also earn all those titles and ribbons and still play.
Yeah, that's great. Actually, why don't you tell us a little bit about the evaluator program, how that works as well?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So the evaluator program is something we just started. We just launched it very, very recently, and the responses have been amazing. Oh my goodness. So many talented and wonderful instructors and professionals all over the world are like, we want to do that, and we are so honored. So basically, the way this works is we used to be completely virtual. Everything used to be online. And we recognized that it was good, but it was also limiting, because all these instructors everywhere across the globe, they're on the ground working with their clients, building up this wonderful ability to play network with their teams. And why aren't we tapping into that? So that's what we're doing now. So basically, the way that it works is that if someone's interested in becoming an evaluator, they send us an application, and then we review that application. They need a little bit of experience. It's basically 3 years of teaching, or at the very least, they've also been a trial official. We want to make certain that they have actually seen what it's like to design a search, so the dog can actually be able to successfully find their hides. We will then approve that application. They go through our certification course. They pass some exams, and then we say, yay, you're wonderful. Here's your evaluator number. And then they get to decide the types of events that they could potentially host. And it's entirely up to the evaluator. So some options are potentially they could do a one-on-one type of event with someone. So let's say that you were an instructor and you were trying to get a client more comfortable or ready to do a group class. Maybe the dog was a little environmentally sensitive, where they're like, oh my goodness, look at all these dogs and people. I'm a little nervous. So you have to spend some time getting them ready, maybe working one-on-one in privates. You could also do with your training in there these little events where you could prepare them to maybe do a game. And the evaluator would be designing the game, the client would be able to run it, and then you just fill out the score sheet, and there they go. They have their actual game title. So it's a way of really helping these clients develop all these skills and incentivize even as they're getting ready to maybe join into a group class. So that's one option. Another option the evaluators are doing is that they're actually weaving this into their classes themselves, where they may have already a 6-week class where they're teaching a specific type of skill. And now they're adding on maybe week 7, where they actually have an event or a class where they are testing the teams in different searches, which is really fun. We've had lots of different things come in for that. And people are loving it. They're like, oh, look, I get to learn, and then I get to get a test, and I get titles. It's so much fun. Or
That's what
the
I'm
other
going to
and
do.
that's wonderful. It's a fantastic thing to do. It's a way of really, again, incentivizing people to continue doing the class. And it's a way of rewarding them for doing so. And for as an instructor, again, we're instructors first and foremost, it's all about skills. So we can really isolate as instructors, what do we need to work on? Every single program can be better. And we may now notice, hey, you know what? My teams need a little bit more work with their dogs working away from them being comfortable to do that, as an example. Because some of these dogs, they want to be slammed right up next to us. Like, I love my mama. I love my papa. It's like, you got to work out a little bit. So we can then build up actual unique classes in order to work on that skill. And then we can test it at the end, which is wonderful. Another really popular thing are basically standalone events. So our vice president, Sean McMurray, just did this over the Black Friday holiday, and it was fantastic. They had a whole bunch of different runs where he was doing some evaluations for the cyber sniffing games, and another approved evaluator was doing the traditional as well. So people got to do
Cool.
lots and lots of searching. So it's basically like a little mini trial, which is nice. And you get to decide what you're going to be offering. For them, what they found that works is they have different time slots for everyone to come in and do their searches. So it's just a really nice, efficient way of doing it. So there's so much flexibility with this. But again, the wonderful thing with our evaluator program is that if you love working with your instructor, you can then work with your instructor to do this. It's not some, oh, that scary judge person. You could just work with your actual instructor, which is nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting started on that. And I do have a space booked for December 17th. So if you guys want that, let me know what you want to do.
Very exciting.
Excuse me. So, is there anything that we missed that you can
I
think
think,
of?
yeah, I think the main thing is just, again, Scentwork is absolutely incredible. Obviously, as an organization, we want your entries. I'm not going to lie. But I really, at the end of it, we want you guys playing with your dogs. That's why we created this. So even if you only ever practice on your own, you use Cyber Scentwork as basically a motivating thing. Like, okay, I want to set up some searches that look like this. Great. You then want to send entries to us? Wonderful. But I really just want you guys playing with your dogs.
Yeah, and I will say, like, you've done a great job on your website with lots of videos and how-tos and everything. So there's lots of good resources there for people who want to find out more. But
Perfect.
I will open it up for questions too. So if you guys have any questions at all, just now's the time. Type them in.
Perfect. And then as people are typing in, just very quickly, just so that you guys have an understanding how about this works, we try to make the process as easy as possible. You can create a free account on cybersetwork.com, and that would again create an account for you so you can track all your progress. You can then register your dog for a one-time lifetime fee, as so you can track all their progress as well, all the titles that they earn, and they'd be able to choose whether or not you want to submit an entry through the cyber sniffing game program or the traditional cyber setwork program. So we try to make it as easy as we possibly can, but you can always contact me with any questions. Again, everything can make sense to us. But if you have a question, we definitely want to make certain that we know that.
Cool. I'm just doing funny, so I'm gonna go on my phone and questions there. It's not like me. So there's no questions yet. Are you telling me that?
I was just so thorough.
Yeah. Okay. I've got one now here. Oh, as I'm okay, I don't want to hear myself. Okay. So will this start soon? As my puppy is just new to scent work. Yes, Barb, we can start at any time. They are live.
Yep. And just as far as for competition, your puppy would need to be 6 months or older in order to actually start competing. But you're always more than welcome to do all the training stuff ahead of time so that you can actually, again, practice with Barb and do all that training, get all those really solid skills. And then when they turn 6 months, they're going to be a rock star. So they're going to be able to have a whole bunch of fun.
Yes. Yes. Her puppy, we just did some intro stuff and he's already a rock star. So
that's awesome. Puppy sniffing is the best.
yes. Okay, people, more questions? Sorry I keep freezing, but if I
That's okay.
disappear, I'm sorry.
Not a problem. No, I
Okay,
totally
Kelly,
understand.
we will see if that shows.
Perfect. So
There
are
you
there
go.
specific breeds of dogs that should be used for scent work? This is a very common question that we receive. And the answer is if your dog has a nose that works, they can do this. Now, absolutely, there's in the professional realm, you see lots of Malinois and Labs and German Shepherds. That is true. That doesn't make those dogs any better. Quite frankly, it's because those were the breeds that were selected to do that type of work. But again, scent work is a civilian type of thing. We're not finding bombs. We're not finding dead people. We're not doing anything like that. We're out there finding food, toys, scented articles, and birch. Every single dog can do this, every breed of dog. So you may be surprised. There may be some dogs that, like a Bisenhounds or Basenjis or Shiba Inus, pugs. It's the size of the nose doesn't matter. Honestly, as long as their nose works and they're not taking certain types of medications that may, actually affect their sense of smell, they can do this. Blind dogs, deaf dogs, dogs that have mobility issues, amputees, dogs in carts, old dogs, young dogs, literally, if they have a nose and it works, they can do this.
Yes. And here's another one.
Perfect. Star, who is almost 14, would be good for her to try. Absolutely. We actually have lots of dogs who have come from other types of training. So let's say that you are already inside the dog sport realm. You've done things in like agility or obedience, or maybe you've been doing a whole bunch of hiking and stuff. You've been doing that long distance hiking stuff that I just look like, wow, how are you guys able to do that? I would just fall on my face. Maybe you've been doing stuff like that for a long time with your dogs, whole bunch of different activities, dock diving and flyball. And now they're getting a little bit older. And some of those higher octane physical activities, arthritis and injuries and things like that, maybe they're retired out of those things. Scent work is a wonderful thing that all dogs at all ages can do. I have several clients who have retired from multiple dog sports. So we're talking they are 12, 13 years old before they even get started in scent work. And they are amazing. The wonderful about this is that it gets them to use both their mind and their body, but in a more low impact type of way, where they're not throwing themselves all over the space as they would like for agility or flyball, but they're still mentally using it. And they don't feel as though, well, I used to have all this fun with my person, maybe doing agility as an example, but now we're not doing that anymore. And we can actually see a big decline in our dogs when they were accustomed to doing a bunch of stuff. And then because we're trying to keep them safe, we kind of stop and we pull back a lot. So now they're just sleeping more. We can really see a decline. So scent work can really help keep them up and active and thinking and all that good stuff. And it's still that engagement. They feel like they still are doing things with you, and you can still broaden and deepen the relationship with your dog. So yes, it's wonderful for dogs of all ages. You have an older dog, absolutely, they can get started. Be like, you want me to find food inside boxes? Yes, please.
Yes. Yes, I will say my girl will be 14 in a couple weeks, and it is her favorite still. Like, no matter what, I'm like, you want to search? She's like, yes, please. So then Kelly wants to know if big lazy bulldogs can do it.
Of course they can. Absolutely. And the wonderful thing about scent work is that it can help us become a little bit more creative. How can we help this so the dog actually wants to play? And we can then find motivators that we didn't even know were there. It can help how we change the way that we do things, how we're using our voice, how we're using our body. How can we make this to be fun? And also, it can change the way that we're actually designing our training. Maybe we do need some shorter sessions. Maybe we're only going to do 2 searches, and then we're going to do a 3 big party, and then we're going to do a bulldog nap, and that's going to be good enough. But then the bulldog's like, I want to play again. And then you say, that's great. We're going to do that tomorrow. And then the whole time, I want to do more. He's like, okay, we're going to do it tomorrow. It'll be fine. So there's lots of different ways we can do this. But yes, absolutely. I've had some amazing bulldog clients who the very first time we set up, they looked like, you want me to do what now? And then by the second session, like, oh my God, please let me see it. I like to start with boxes. So boxes we use, open boxes, and we use treats. So it becomes a visual cue. So by the second or third session, they see those boxes and they are pulling their person, give me the boxes. So yes, bulldogs can do this.
And I think this is probably Carly because she has 2 min pins.
Perfect. Yes, min pins are amazing at nose work. They are absolutely incredible. Again, you're going to hear me say this over and over again. Really, all dogs are, but min pins are really focused and they are just so tenacious about it. And give me my cookie opportunity. So they are awesome, and they're just so animated to watch as they search. They are hilarious. So yes, min pins are amazing little nose work dogs.
Yes. Any other questions? Well, we've got her hostage here.
Yes, any questions you have at all. I'm also happy to answer any kind of training questions that you may have, getting started. If you're going up to different levels, I'm happy to answer anything that you guys have. Again, we want to make certain that you guys are playing the game. So ask away.
What's your favorite one of the games?
For me personally, as of this moment, I would say I really am a sucker for go away. I just love to have the dogs, work away from their people. But if I was evaluating, I personally would love Focus Fido to just see the people acting a fool while their dog is actually searching.
Yeah.
That's really fun. And also the blankety blank I think is really cool because people get really nervous about trying to work a blank space with their dog. They're so worried they're not going to know how it goes. And the dogs can really surprise and be like, there's nothing in here. There's nothing for me to find. And that's great. And we can actually leverage blank searches to actually build up some motivation where the dog's like, there was nothing in here. But then their next search there is, we're like, oh, there's my cookie opportunity. So yeah, I love them all. But yeah, being able to work away from your dog is really big. Being able to see clients, act a fool with their dogs. Those are really fun ones for me.
Cool. We have one more comment here.
Perfect. So I started my two when they were 10 and 12 and a half years old, and they loved it. Got lots of titles, enjoyed it till they were 15 and passed away. The other over 16 and still got good at it. I now have a puppy who just started out. Oh, this is fantastic. Yes, absolutely. This is an activity you can do for the whole duration of your dog's lifespan. You never really need to stop. And the one thing I will say for everyone is that for me personally, I distinguish the activity of scent work from the sport of scent work. The activity of scent work, in my opinion, every single dog on the planet should be playing. And then we have the sport of scent work, and that's with all the titles and the ribbons. I think we're made cyber scent work pretty darn accessible, but if everyone did the activity of scent work, playing the game however they want, that is what I'm going for. And we can do this with our dogs, again, from the time that we start until the time that they're done. And that would be a wonderful thing and a gift to give to our dogs.
Yes. Okay, we got one more here for you.
Perfect. If your dog is registered with the title show in their registration. So if you're saying if they're registered with another organization, well, let me say it this way.
Or do you
So
mean
go ahead.
CKC or AKC maybe? Like registered purebred? I think that's probably what they mean.
Okay. So we encourage everyone to have the name without the titles from other organizations, just because then it gets really messy on the actual title certificate, if that makes sense. So it's just basically, like, as an example, for my Valor, he was imperishable flame, and then he had a whole bunch of things before and after his name. So his registered name for our purposes, CyberSat, would just be imperishable flame. So that, if that helps. But as far as tracking the progress of cyber scent work, yes, you'll be able to track all the titles that you earn with us. And then you would be able to have that with those title certificates. You can download those title certificates whenever you wish. They're always accessible through your dashboard. But I hope that helps. Great question.
I possibly, I'm not sure if they mean as well, if they would show on your like AKC. Are they recognized by AKC or CKC?
Yes. So we are not recognized with other organizations as of this point. I doubt that we would probably be recognized by AKC just because AKC has their own.
Right.
I believe same thing with CKC. They may have certain things that are recognized, but most organizations recognize other types of organizations where they don't have that division. Which makes kind of sense.
Yeah.
Just go through us.
And
Yes. Is there human tracking as well, like search and rescues? We don't have this at the moment. The closest thing that we have is scented articles. So scented articles are more similar to what you may see inside competition obedience, and you get to decide what that article is. So you guys may have heard of also the organization NASDA. And so this is very similar to that, where you'd be able to have them potentially scenting a wallet or a sock or a set of keys, whatever, credit card, whatever you would like to do, you get to choose that thing. But as far as search and rescue, we try to keep those things separate. For me personally, I want everyone to really be clear about the difference between civilian and professional work. The last thing that I would ever want is someone like, oh, look, I got a title from Cyber Set Work. I can find lost people in an avalanche. No. Nope, we're just playing the game. Yeah, exactly. So there is a little bit of a difference there. But again, for the cyber sniffing games, we do offer scented articles as an option. So you'd be able to choose any different types of articles, such as, again, wallets and keys and gloves and hats and all kinds of fun things. So you can get pretty creative with that as well. Like, I know I'm very absent-minded. I lose things all the time. Be like, okay, can you find my keys, dog? And they're like, yes, here, there you go. Stop losing your stuff.
yes. Okay, that was the last question we have so far. We'll give you a couple more minutes. If there's anything else.
Yeah, great questions, guys. These are awesome questions. Absolutely love them. If you guys have any follow-up questions, sometimes what happens is I know I throw a lot of information out with everything that I do. They're like, oh yeah, I'm good, mainly because their brain is exploding. And in the middle of the night, like, oh, I have a question. Don't worry. You can always reach out to me. I'm always happy to help. And absolutely feel free to hit me up because I want to make certain that we're answering any questions that you have.
Cool. Yeah, and definitely go to her website, follow on Facebook, because she's doing tons of webinars over the next few weeks on all the different games and how they specifically work and how you can play.
Yep. So what I'll do is I'll also send Barb a couple links. I'll send her a link for Cyber Setwork as well as for Setwork University, just so you guys have that information in case you wanted to check any of that stuff out as well.
Sounds good. Well, looks like we might be out of questions. Anybody typing fast? No, well, I think we are good. So thank
Awesome.
you very much for coming. Like I said, I'm super excited to get started on this. And yeah, I have my December 17th date. So if anybody wants to try playing it, we can do something that day. Other than that, after Christmas, I'm hoping to offer some courses like classes, like we'll do interiors and then we'll do an interiors trial. And when we do the trial portion, I will open that up to anybody, even if they didn't take the class, just so that if you already know, you don't have to come learn to enter the trial. But that's what I'm thinking so far. But again, open to whatever people want to do. So let me know. And any last words?
I thank you so very much for this opportunity. I love being able to talk about Setwork. I love being able to talk about this organization that we put together. We're very excited that you're a part as an evaluator. Again, being able to do this is so incredibly awesome for our dogs. I want to thank everyone who plays Setwork with their dogs. You are giving them a gift. You're giving yourself a gift as well. So thank you.
Thank you. And people are saying, thank you for doing the interview. Very interesting. Lots of info.
Hey.
Lots of thank yous coming in.
Oh, good. Fantastic. That's always good. It's like, oh, don't ever bring her back. She was terrible.
Yeah. All right. I am ending the stream.